All right, today we're going to show you how to list cards on eBay. Today's cards are actually part of our $10 challenge series, which we just started. So please check out that video. We'll list it right above. Again, that's our whole series. Today we are going to list, I actually, at the last show in Heightstown, I got all these cards out of a dime box. And again, guys, always check out your bargain boxes, because this is actually a Braille version of the card. So action pack cards sell very well on eBay. They're an older card. They weren't mass produced like the other ones in the 90s. So any of the Hall of Famers sell very well for me. And this turns out this is actually a rarer parallel. Last sale was $6, and I got this out of a dime box, because a lot of times when you got people at the shows that are doing bargain boxes, they don't have time to look for details, and every once in a while you get a diamond in the rough. So this one card, again, I got a $10 challenge. We got 100 cards listed that I got for a dime a piece, and the first card's a $6 card. All right, so whenever you want to list a card, unless you're listing a new card, I highly, like a brand new card that just came out, I highly suggest what you do is you take the card. Again, if you're not familiar with cards, there's usually a print run, and it usually tells you the company, which in this set is Action Pack. It's usually right here, and the year. So the easiest way to look things up is the year, the set, the name, and I usually also add the number. And again, this was a weird parallel, so I added the Braille. Right. And 99% of the time, you're going to get the exact card you're looking for, with maybe a couple that are similar. If you don't know how to look up the value of your cards, again, we just did a very recent video on how to do that for all types of cards, graded, ungraded, and all different sports and non-sports. We'll put that up in the link above. All right, there's more than one reason to do this. Okay, when you go to list your cards, obviously you're going to need to know what they valued at, and also what the competition has it at. So when you go to look up your card, this does two different things at one time. The first purpose that it serves is it lets you know when you first pull it up, it's going to have unsold cards in here. So you're going to know what your competition is asking for. So $5.29, $4.99, $3, $5, $5, and $6. Okay, so cards are averaging between, we'll say, $3.50 and $6. Okay. And then also on top of it, you can just easily go down to sold. And again, you see that it's sold consistently for $6, $5.40, $4, $5. So it's safe to assume that if you wanted to sell this card, you can list it for the $4 to $5 range, and you'd have a decent chance of selling it pretty easily. Again, it all depends on your priorities. Again, you can list it for the top dollar, but then it's probably going to sit longer. You can list it for the average price, and then that just depends on who sees your card first. Or you can always decide to list it for the lower value, and you're probably going to sell it quicker. It all depends on you and your priorities. Right. Now, the good thing is whenever you have a card that's already in the system, it's very easy to make a listing. So what you do is you just find a listing that matches your card. So you're going to make sure you have the exact card. Again, make sure it's the same parallel, the same version. If you can't find the exact version, you can find one similar, and we will show you how to change the different options. So you just click on the card that you want to list. Scroll down right below the picture, and it says right here, have one to sell now. And what that is going to do, it is going to produce an exact copy of this listing for you. And that way you don't have to type in everything from scratch. All right. Now, what I normally do is, depending upon how many you need, normally what I do is I try to do a pile of cards at once, anywhere from 10 to 40. I make up the composition in the computer because, again, as I'm listing the cards, I want to look up the values. So that way I put in all the values, and then just when I'm done, right before I list them, I go into my phone, take the pictures, and then hit list. So that's the quickest way for me. Again, you can do the whole process on your phone. You could technically do it on your computer, but it's hard to take photos. So you can just use the app to do the entire thing on your phone. Or again, I just find it easier when I'm doing piles. When I do a few at a time, it does seem like it's easier to do it on the phone. But again, I try to list a pile at a time. And it's just quicker for me to go through, find the prices, and it's easier to type on the computer than it is for the little keyboard on your phone. And that's why when I'm listing a pile, I usually do it on the computer. So we're just going to skip the picture part right now. Okay, you do have to be careful. All right. Check your listing. Now, again, keywords are important. What I feel are the biggest priorities that have worked well for me is, you have to have the year, the set, the name, and I also list the teams. So the next and very important part that we are going to do next is we need to verify all the information is correct. If you are responsible for all the information in here, the person in front of you might have put something in differently or put something incorrectly. Okay, when you first do this, after you've verified that your item title is not only correct, but it's got as much highlight as it's got as much important information in there that people can use in the search. It's going to give you some suggestions of things to list faster that might help you when people are doing the search. So I already clicked those to choose them. Item category, ball, Barry Sanders, 1991, action packed. I've already gone through and changed all this. This was inaccurate. Okay, just to speed things up, I went through and changed this. It didn't have the year in there. It didn't have the right brand in there. It does let you choose multiple teams. If the player's been on more than one team, I suggest you click them all off. So just go through this checklist one by one. Make sure as much information as you can is in there. Make sure it is all accurate. The more that you click off, the better a chance you have being found when people do the search. All right, and then condition is, unless you have a graded slab, it's obviously always going to be ungraded. Card condition is always near mint or better. It can't be mint anytime you have a card that is open out of a box or pack. Once a card is open, the best condition you're allowed to mark it at is near mint or better. And obviously, if it's in worse condition, it's going to be a lower grade. But you cannot mark an open pack, a card that is open out of a pack or open out of a box, as mint. Then we're going to go down, and normally what I literally do is I just take the title above and copy and paste it here. Next thing we're going to do is we are going to make the title for our description. Again, you have more room in the title, so it's good to add extra information. I usually add things like in the title, I might just put Lions, Rams, I might put the team name, but then when I go down here, I add the cities. In case people are searching by that, I also add additional important information like a Hall of Famer, whether they've been an MVP or other highlights in their career. Okay, now I went and inserted the proper blurb. So I say right out, again, I offer free shipping. And the reason behind that is there is a free shipping option when people search for cards. And a lot of people click that. So if you don't offer, I basically add price of shipping into the price of the card. And then you get a whole category of people who literally search for free shipping only that you would never see your cards if you don't offer it. And the other upside to that is, say you charge $1 for a card and 85 cents for shipping. A large majority of people are going to not only want, but expect combined shipping. So every time that somebody orders more than one card, you're going to lose 85 cents. When I'm charging $1.85 for a card and I sell it, I just offer a 10% discount on multiple cards. So instead of losing 85 cents, I'm losing 18 cents. So when you get customers that order multiple cards and you're including the shipping in your card, you're not losing money when you do combined shipping, so it actually works out a lot better for you. Okay, so right off the bat, we list that we offer discounts on multiple items. So again, that keeps you from playing tag back and forth. When you get more advanced, this is how, once you get people into your page, you can better your sales. On your eBay page, you can actually make different categories. like for the bigger players that sell every day, like Mahomes, Allen, Hurts, I actually have, it would be category football Mahomes, category football Hurts. And then for like my older players or players that I only have a handful of, it would be categories football Hall of Fame. Okay. And that way, when people get to your page and they see either, they like Hall of Famers or they like Mahomes or they like Hurts, they click on that and it shows all their listings to them. But again, you're not going to get into this until you probably got like, a good 100 or 200 until you get a couple hundred cards. Okay. So again, think about the comments. Think about things that can save you time, like combined shipping, discounts, things like that. That'll make the sale go a lot quicker. And feel free to put that in your comments. You got a couple thousand digits you can put in here, so you don't want to flood it with too terribly much because people won't read it. But make sure you put anything in here that's important or pertinent. Now, the two different ways you can sell is auction or buy it now. We're going to do buy it now. And again, the listing price for this was between $350 and $5. Again, we're doing this for the challenge, so I do want this to sell. So what we're going to do is we're going to list this card for, the median price is $459. So what we're going to do is we're going to list it for $450, quantity 1. And again, this is really great. Because basically you can go right in here, and if you click on here, it's going to take you to the same sold page that I showed you earlier. So right off the bat, you know what your competition looks like. All right, now comes another good part. Okay. This, again, saves you playing tag. A lot, especially when you get busy, especially when you get thousands of cards, playing email tag over 25 cents gets really frustrating. So what you can do in here is you can accept offers. So say I'll accept an offer down to $350. Let's make it $375. We'll make it down to $375. But if somebody offers, say, $4, it automatically accepts it. So I'll accept offers down to $350. But if they submit a offer as $4 or higher, it automatically accepts it. So that way I don't have to play email tag. Next part is shipping. For a single card, we're going to make sure this is always 1 ounce. Package dimensions are pretty much automatic. You don't have to worry about that. Just make sure it's at least as big as it. Your package can be smaller. It can't be larger. So what I always do is I have it preset to the largest envelope. That way if I end up using a smaller envelope, it's fine. And then standard shipping. You can go through your shipping options, decide what's best for you. Obviously, eBay standard envelope for small cards and smaller things works best. And we've done a very detailed description of that. We'll try to put that in the up above for you. Again, we offer free shipping. Again, we combine our offer, so I showed you how to do shipping. If you don't offer combined shipping, we offer free shipping, so I'm going to check this off. Then the other thing you have to do is edit your settings as far as how you handle shipping. Okay, if you want to eventually be a top seller where you actually get that rating, you have to offer 3 days or less. And so keep that in mind. Again, you can change that later on. You don't have to do that in the beginning. But when you get to the point where you can become a top-rated seller, you have to offer shipping in at least 3 days. Item disclosures, if there is anything you had to add. Say you have like a certificate of authenticity or anything that's any kind of paperwork that's relevant. And then it also gives you the option of making a donation to charity. We were selling so much on the other apps, we shut our store down. Again, we're starting our store back up, so we don't have any more free listings. All right, so what I am going to do, I am going to save for later. Again, you're going to do this if you're doing this like me, where it's easier for you to type out the information in the computer and then go take your pictures on your phone. You can preload. One of the important things about eBay pays for consistency. Say you load 40 cards on Monday. Don't list all 40 cards. What you should do is list a few cards a day until you're ready to load more. The last step in the process is taking your pictures. So once you can either do this whole process from the app itself, but again, if I do a lot, I prefer to do all my typing on the computer because it's easier to see the screen, just easier to type. But you always have the option of doing this whole thing from the app. Once you have your files loaded and saved, you can just go in and right at the top, it's going to give you the option of taking the pictures. And they always prefer a white background. Not exactly sure why, especially when a lot of cards have white, white surrounds. But they always prefer a white background. Any white background will do. I usually either use a plain piece of paper, a box top, a folder, anything that's white. Just make sure it's not dirty. Make sure it's not crinkled or has any cracks. What I normally do is I usually take a top, left side, right side, bottom up, and then flip the card over and take a top-down picture of the back. That's usually more than adequate, especially for the lower-end cards. If you're doing higher-end cards, you can take more detailed pictures of all the corners. And then once again, you just go down to the bottom of the listing and hit list, and your card is listed.